Welcome to the Live Actually podcast. My name is Four Corners, and you are in my loft, my crib, my space, and I'm happy that you're here. Today is the first episode, and I had a conversation with a very incredibly bright young artist by the name of Chikoruss. He is out of Montreal, Canada, making a very unique style of R&B. It's like throwback 2000s, but with a modern twist. And his story is really interesting. How he came up on this sound is really interesting, but he's not just bound to that. He's doing other things as well. Not only new to the music industry, but he's actually just new as an adult human. He's, a 20-year-old guy. Really has his head straight on, has his goals defined. He's signed to a major record label, so he's not independent, but he has the mindset of an entrepreneur already. So excited for you to meet him and get to know the one and only Chikoruss. So let's get it. I'm here with the one and only Chikoruss. How you doing, brother? You back in the city?
Man, we back in the city, man.
You have a lot of history with Toronto, being from Montreal. You've been back in here, back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
And I heard you've been here for a few days. You've had some food. Mm-hmm. You went to Chubby's, one of my favorite spots.
Man, Chubby's, bro. Yeah, I got it, man.
What was your favorite thing at Chubby's?
So I'm just a fan of oxtail in general. Like I've had it once with my A&R when I went to in New York.
That was the first time you ever had oxtail?
That's the first time I ever had oxtail, yeah. Because I feel like, coming from Montreal, we have like certain Jamaican spots and everything, but we mainly have like Haitian spots that are like more accessible.
That makes sense.
So it's like, I never really like go out to eat as well that often because my dad's a chef. So
your dad's a chef?
Yeah,
my dad was a chef too. So good food at home.
Good food at home. You never feel the need to go eat elsewhere because, the food is great at home. So I love food, but I just never went to try much food, and like oxtail was definitely one on the list that I always wanted to try. So when I came here, Omar's the GOAT, man. He said it was gonna be good, and hey, man, it was amazing.
Yo, Omar was like the second person that took me to Chubby's too. Shout out Omar.
Shout out Omar, man.
Dope. Speaking of you and your time in Toronto, you wrote your first banger here in Toronto.
Yeah, bro.
Body Language.
Body Language.
I heard the story of this, that you were, working on some music. You came to Toronto to get away from Montreal and like focus. And you wanted to do a bunch of records, but this is the one that happened. How did that come about?
So what happened was, prior to that, the year in September, I took a break of school. Like I took a leap year type of thing. I actually want to take just a semester off because I was trying to save money, like work my first ever job. Because I never worked prior to that.
What was that job?
Tommy Hilfiger. Shout out Tommy.
You got to do a retail job.
You got to do a retail job.
It's a rite of passage to do a retail job on your way up.
It was a very good experience because I feel like working in retail kind of like projects it to your real life. You know what I mean? It kind of like, in real life now, I like to fold. I like to keep things clean. And like, I'm just used to it because of the pattern of like just work every day.
My mom would love you. She's like super... Everything has to be straight, and I'm not like that at all. I'm doing my best, but that ain't it for me. So you got that.
You feel me? So like, yeah. So working at Tommy Hilfiger was the first job, and I was like, okay, let me just work my first job, first year when I'm taking school off, so at least I could save up some money for the summer because I had another record that never came out that I had collaborated with the same homie that engineered the Body Language record.
Okay,
and another of my homie, for us to drop in the summer. It had like a B2K type of feel, but it just never came out. So I just wanted to save money to shoot a music video for that summer. So fast forward to January, I'm like, oh my God, bro. I think I might have to go back to school because my parents wouldn't let me have a whole year off because they're going to be like,
of course,
you're wasting time, you know what I mean? Not doing anything. So I was like, okay, let me call out my homie, Junior, and let's go to Toronto and let's clear our minds out and just feel like we're gonna be locked in and just make hella records, the most records possible. So then when I go back to school, I could just drop a record per month and just see how it goes. Because I never dropped music like that before, so I don't know if it's gonna do good or bad. So at least one record a month is just the best
before
way.
that, it was only like freestyles on the internet type stuff, right?
Before that was just the Wild Thoughts remix.
Yeah.
And I did one other record with my boy Junior as well. And and that's about it. And my first ever song that I did like way back, and yeah, it was only like 3 records.
Wow.
So, and then what happened was, went to Toronto, unfortunate events happened with him and his previous relationship, and something it was family related. And during that whole week, it was like an intense week, and we didn't get to work on much. But the only record we chose to work on first happened to be Body Language. So I know he felt bad because we came here for music and then change of plans. Family comes first. I'm a big family guy, so I'm like, music can wait. It's not like I'm popping and I'm in need of another record, so I'm like, yo, I'll just wait. It's cool. We did this record. I came back home. My other homie, GM, he like pressed me to post music because I'm such a perfectionist that the record got to be perfect. No, oh, this is not the right part, and it just had to be perfect for me to like drop. So he was like, bro, I'm really about to beat your ass if you don't post something. So I'm like, okay. I'll just post something. I posted the catchiest part of the record, in my opinion, was the hook. So when you post like records, I think it's either the intro might be like the right buildup for like to keep it going, like, oh my God, we want to hear more, or it's the catchiest hook. Yeah. So I was like, okay, the hook in this case is the catchiest part that could take the attention of like TikTok. So I posted it. It hit like 100K the first day. I was like, wow, bro, like this probably has potential. Let me just stay consistent every day. And bro, like the rest is history, man.
That is a crazy, crazy story. You're right about finding the part of the song though. It's like, it could be the hook, it could be the intro, it could be just whatever part of it that like you as the artist feels like this might be something that people can attach themselves to. Exactly. And then sometimes you have no idea. I know some artists that have done songs where they're like posting the hook, and nothing's happening, and then post a different random part of the song. All of a sudden it pops off. You really never know. So you caught lightning in a bottle.
But think about it, like even my second record that I posted, bro, like In Too Deep, I didn't tease the hook.
Right.
It was the intro because I was like, bro, the buildup is so fire that people people are going to be like, yo, what is this? Like, what we want to hear the rest. But the hook, even though it was a good hook, it was not a good hook to market the record. Right. So I was like, bro, it's crazy how, the right part of the record could change
Absolutely. Because like real talk, I've heard In Too Deep a lot. Yeah. It's like the hook is not the part that stands out to me.
It was the intro.
It's the intro and that like boom, boom, and then talk to me. That right there, it's burned in my brain.
It's crazy. Like sometimes when you make music, some parts of the record feels like a hook, even though it wasn't the hook. Like if I brought it back as a talk to me, it could have been cool. But it's like sometimes you just gotta structure the record.
I think some of my favorite records feel like they have several hooks. Like every part of it, the hook is the hook, the pre is the hook, the verse could have been a hook, the bridge could have been a hook.
I think when it comes to this music game, bro, people just gotta make sure every part of the record sticks. Like the amount of artists that blow up with music that just that one part that made them famous is the only good part. It's insane, bro. Yeah. Like not even to shit on these artists, but like, it's just crazy how someone could get so much recognition from a single part, but the whole record doesn't deliver. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, bro, that's insane when people got good records and it doesn't get the love.
But I mean, it depends on how deeply that connects, but also how consistent they are with putting that in front of people. Because like, the TikTok game, you came from that essentially. It's like if you posted one or two videos, it might have been that, that 100K and maybe like another one maybe would have got 50 or 70 or maybe you would have got 2. Yeah. If you stop posting, you wouldn't be who you are right now in this game. So you got to stay consistent with it. That is a note for everybody out there.
Consistency is key.
Consistency. You got to keep it going. And I love we were talking about before we sat down, we were talking about the book, The Alchemist. And I was telling you the entire idea behind that is like everything happens for a reason. You just have to believe and like follow your gut and do the things that you do. And it's hilarious to me that now you're sitting down telling me that, yo, we came to Toronto to make a bunch of records. This is the one that we felt like we should really work on because of all the things that happened. And then look what happened. This song pops off and like launches your career.
The craziest thing is that out of all the other beats I had that I wanted to choose to hop on, I had a record that I literally wrote A to Z that I was like, yo, this about to be a fire record. It's just something about the beat just... Like, I was like, bro, we have time to record everything. That's already done. Let me have this one, put the ideas out. Wow. And I didn't even, I don't even think I'm going to record the other one just because compared to the stuff I got now, I don't think it matches it. Yeah. But like, I was just messing with that beat so much, even though I had a record that I could have just quickly just get rid of.
No, but you followed your gut.
Yeah, I went with my gut, man.
But you got to go with the gut. I have a question regarding going with your gut because like you're a 20-year-old young man from Montreal, Canada.
Toronto.
I'm so Toronto that I just like I want to put Toronto in everything.
You know, I love Toronto. So I don't even hate on it, man. I love
From
it.
Montreal, Quebec, Canada. But you and your sound of everything that you've dropped thus far has been a throwback specifically to early 2000s R&B. Where did that inspiration come from? Like, what did you listen to growing up?
Yeah.
And like, what do you love about that sound so much that makes you want to make this?
Yeah, so I mean, me growing up, I grew up as like a dancer. Like I grew up in a dancing household. Like, you know, my cousins were dancing, and I just wanted, like, you know, I love watching the step ups.
I was gonna say like Stomp the Yard.
Yeah,
like,
Stomp the Yard. All of those, bro.
Okay.
Literally, like I was trying to be a big dancer, but what happened was at a really young age, I moved to the suburbs. So it's like, you know, that whole dance culture was like it was away. You know, it was just more sports. So that's why I was just like just singing and everything. And in high school, I got introduced to Bryson Tiller's music, you know, the trap soul and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I don't know what this is, but this is fire. You know what I mean? It didn't sound like the typical R&B that most R&B singers be singing. And I'm like, this is lit. And then he had that record with Rihanna, you know? And like growing up, I always heard the 2000s music, like let's say like some Usher. I heard some of the
so much sense
Chris
now.
Brown, some Sean Paul heavy, you know what I mean? Because, you know, we love to dance to those type of rhythms. But yeah, mainly when I heard that Wild Thoughts record, I was like, okay, something about this record just sticks. It was not even the fact that it was the 2000s, just the fact that it was sticking. I was like, yo, I like this.
Did you know it was a remake when you first heard it? See, I didn't think so. Now it's all making sense to me because you got introduced to Bryson and you loved him, and then he happened to do this throwback record that you didn't even know was a throwback, but that sound spoke to you.
So one thing that a lot of people like would think is with my sound is they would think that like I kind of studied the 2000s. I grew up listening to all these 2000s records. I'm just now really enjoying a lot of the 2000s.
So you're now learning about a lot of it?
Like growing up, my dad used to play a lot of like the Boyz II Men. Those are like the R&B I would say that I would listen to, but not really like heavy 2000s as in like I was like really listening to it. That's why my sound sounds like that. My sound was literally based off of a feeling, bro. Like when I heard that record, I was like, bro, that's a feel good record. Yeah, let me try to make the remix. Like I told you, I did the Wild Thoughts remix. I'm like, yo, let me do the remix. I was writing with it, and I just had so much fun writing it, and the feel of it. I was like, yeah, I need to make more music that has this feel of it. So I think the feeling was the feeling of having a record that feels timeless. Yeah, the bounce was right, and it was fun.
And you could dance to it.
So I'm like, if I make music that has those elements, even if it has that nostalgic feeling to it, I think rebranding it a little bit to a newer style, but having that feeling that this is going to be a timeless record. Like Chico made this in 2024, but I could hear it in 2070. Right. You know what I mean? So that's literally what I was trying to do with, and it all came from the Wild Thoughts record.
That is pretty interesting that Wild Thoughts record sparked the direction of your entire career.
Yeah.
And you didn't even know it was a throwback.
I didn't even know I didn't know it was a throwback, I never studied the throwback. Right. So it's not like I had a blueprint to make throwback music, you know. Yeah. It was all part of the feeling and the vibe. And like I'm a dancer, you know, I just felt it, you know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I think that's probably why when I heard your music, I thought it moved me because it felt authentic. I didn't know if you were aware of the music from that time or if you had been put onto it. I assumed you'd heard some. But like what you're telling me now about Wild Thoughts makes so much sense, especially because then you did that freestyle. Yeah. But it doesn't feel like you're trying to do something, is my point. It feels like you're doing what you do and you're letting what is inside of you come out 100%, into the music.
100%. And you know, sometimes I feel like the records, like, you know, like I'm saying, I'm trying to rebrand that 2000s and mix it with the new school. Yeah. I would either use like a beat that has, the beat feels probably a little older and the lyricism and the flow is more new. Or the lyricism is probably like delivery-wise feels like more like 2000s Lover, and the beat's a little newer. So it all has like, you know, you share the elements a little to bounce it around. Yeah. So it doesn't feel too gimmicky either.
For sure. Well, I mean, this is probably going to sound like a gimmicky question, but Bryson named his vibe Trap Soul.
Trap Soul.
Do you have a name for what it is that you're doing?
For what I'm doing? Vibes, you know what it is? I think that's one of those those answers that I'm gonna know whenever the time comes.
When it comes to you.
Like, it's gonna be, I'm gonna be reading The Alchemist. I'm like, yo, what is this?
You're gonna read The Alchemist,
and then I might be eating pizza, and then I'm like, yo, I might make a sound or something. I'm like, that's the name.
That's the one.
That's the same.
Okay,
yeah,
when you think of it, you gotta link me and let me know what it is.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna call you. You're gonna be the first one. I'm gonna be like, bro, I found it.
Beautiful.
I got the
beautiful. Because I feel like there has kind of been a resurgence of the 2000 sound recently. And like, it's not heavy yet. It's not like, a few years ago, like The Weeknd and Dua Lipa and a bunch of people started doing like 80s inspired music. Yeah. I feel like, and there's always been 90s inspired music. 90s are amazing. Mm-hmm. But I feel like recently I've been hearing and just feeling just different things be like, yo, that kind of feels like the 2000s. That's like, that's that vibe. But nobody is owning it. And I'm not just blowing smoke. I don't talk shit. I say what I mean actually. There's no other artist I can think of right now that is like synonymous with that like you are.
Thank you, man.
Like when I think of an artist who's making, creating that kind of vibe and that feel, it's the feel. It's like you are at the forefront at that right now. And I feel like if you continue on this journey, you're going to be that guy. When this becomes this huge thing that a lot of people start doing, be like, oh man, that guy sounds like Chikoruss still.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things I've always was thinking about, like how am I going to leave my print in the whole music scene? Yep. And I think me buzzing with this little 2000 nostalgic feeling that everybody's telling me about, if I can successfully pull off what I'm trying to do, which is make the 2000s music new and make that whole, kind of create a genre itself.
And own it.
You know what I mean? And
be
own
the guy.
it. I will forever be the guy, in 20 years, I'll be doing, let's say, pop or something. They're going to be like, yo, Chico started because he created this. Mm-hmm. And every time you hear a beat, you're going to be like, either that's like an Omarion type beat or Chris Brown or a Chikoruss when you know what it is Chico does, I
feel that. You want to make your mark and really create some space for yourself.
100%.
Because there's so much music coming out every day. There's so much noise. There's great music. There's shit music. There's everything in between. Mm-hmm. And for you to carve out a space for yourself where people just know when we hear it that it's you is only going to be helpful.
Because I feel like you said, I've been hearing a lot of 2000s music too, on TikTok, floating around. And, no shade or anything, but I feel like those type of music, people try to make it intentionally 2000. It just I don't want you to listen to Chikoruss and be like, oh my God, I'm in the 2000s. You want to feel like, man, I miss the 2000s and I love listening to this. You don't want to be like, it's like I'm back in 2006. You know what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. I want you to be like, man, I just remember when I used to listen to stuff like this and I'm enjoying this now more because it used to remind me of the music I used
That's
to
how I
love,
feel. That's how I feel because I'm older than you. I was there. I grew up with this stuff. But also, people your age and younger, the feeling is still the feeling. Whether they were there or not, they're going to feel that vibe. And I think that my favorite part of what you're doing is bringing the dancing back because I have a problem with people going to the club and standing around. I have a problem with the music being made that it feels like that's what you're supposed to do. And that's why I recently got into, well, not recently, I've been into Afrobeats and I'm a pianist taking over now. And I'm loving how the world has caught on to this because it's bringing the dancing back. And I had the opportunity to hear some of the unreleased Chikoruss tune.
Oh yeah.
And you're dabbling in that space too. It's not just 2000s energy you got. Tell me about that. How'd that come about?
I think expanding as an artist is the most important thing because you can't always do the same thing forever. I think if, let's say, example, the Chris Browns, if Chris Brown kept doing what he's the great music that we loved listening back then, if he only did that, he won't go too far. And the reason why he's doing something new is the reason why we love his older stuff more because he's not doing that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a time for everything. And I think me bodying what I'm doing right now is the most important thing. And once I'm done with that, it's time to really show people that Chico is not only that, he's versatile with anything. You want me to sing in Chinese? I will learn it. I will body the Chinese, music game too if that's what the market is. You know what I mean? And it just shows that I really want to win and I want to be loved by everybody. I'm trying to be like a Michael Jackson, man. That's not
a bad bar to aspire to.
I want everybody I want everybody in the world to be like, yo, listen to Chikoruss music. It's just, I love it. And he's bodied every type of music, every style. Whenever the fans are like, bro, imagine Chico on techno. I'll make a techno record just so I can show you guys that I can make it work too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, you know what I mean? You're a really good singer.
Thank you, man.
And therefore, vocals can go on anything as long as you make it feel right, as long as it feels very authentic. And as I understand it, you're like very picky with the beats that you choose.
You know, being picky, bro, is one of those qualities that can either get you far or stop wherever you're going. You know what I mean? But I think with what I'm doing, like I'm very niche, I need to be picky in this game if I want to succeed. Because if I'm not picky, bro, I might not achieve what I want to achieve. You know?
Well, yeah, picky. But I mean, just like you said, the homie was like, "Yo, Joe, you gotta drop something though. You gotta drop it. Like this is fire. You gotta drop it." It's picky, but not to the point where you never actually put anything out, because we're all our toughest critics. When I make 100%. Music as well, it's like there's not a song that I've released, and I have sub songs that have done fantastic, millions of streams. Yeah, even those ones, I'm like, man, I wish I did this instead. So the pickiness, definitely the perfectionism as an artist, and it's your baby. Like every single one of these things is important
because that's what the world's gonna know about you, bro.
Yeah.
Whatever you drop is what people think about you. Like you get judged because of the music you put out. If the music is bad, people are gonna be like, bro, Chico's not a good artist. If the music is good, people are gonna be, Chico's an amazing artist. And that's why for me, I'm very picky with the beat selection. More than, like, bro, I don't write a record, I don't record a record at all if the beat is not good. I will go through hella beats. I'm gonna tell my team, bro, we're not booking any sessions if we don't get any beats right. Because the instrumental is so important. I think the core element, like I said, of the 2000s, that the music sticks out. Every single instrumental of all the hit records are banging. Yeah. And on top of that, you want the instrumental to be so good that with no beat, everybody would want that song. You know, you want me to drop the record and people to have 30 million remixes because the beat is so good. You want people to do exactly what I did with the Wild Thoughts. The beat was so good, I wanted to do a remix on it.
You sound like a dancer when you're saying all of this.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yo, it's all about the beat, man. I gotta feel it. I gotta want to hit the floor.
I gotta feel it, and that's me being a dancer. Kind of makes me feel the record in a whole different aspect as well. You know. So if the beat is not hitting the ear, I don't have ideas. I can't. I'm not one of those artists that you give me any beat, I'm gonna spit on it and just make it work. Yeah. I make it work when the record is crazy for me.
Got you. So you bringing dancing into the game now too with the performances?
I'm trying to practice the dancing for sure.
Have you formally trained? You say your family's dancers. Have you formally done classes and all that?
What happened was I've never really took classes because I was still very young when I was like developing the dancing. You know, my cousins were dancing in school and in teams and everything. But you know, they're also like a lot older than me. So they kind of lost touch a little bit, but they're still dancing, but not to the point, bro, we're the music game, the dancing game is advancing. Everybody's elite at this level. Elite. So it's like, you know, for me to really like want to dance and perform the records I am doing, I have to really master the singing and the music, and then we can add the dancing. And then when I do that, bro, you got yourself a performer, man.
You got a problem.
And
then you're going to also have to, in that, you're going to be mastering how to sing while dancing,
exactly,
and like be able to hit the moves but keep your breath, to be able to get those notes and all that. That's a whole thing.
And like to me, like, you know, focusing on sounding the best is more important than the dancing, because I feel like the dancing is amazing, you know, but if you don't sonically sound like what your fans want you to sound like, I mean, bro, like who cares about if you dance?
Brother, I can tell you this, there's nothing worse than going to a show of somebody that you're a fan of and leaving less of a fan because they sounded terrible.
I've seen like some artists, bro, like literally perform and dance, and it's more dancing than the performance.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, some artists, to be honest, are not really singers. That's what they do. Like I remember the first time I saw Britney Spears. This is a long time ago. Britney Spears is like obviously Britney Spears, but she's never been like a singer. But her show was amazing. Yeah. But it was all dancing, and I'm pretty sure she was lip singing 99% of it. And we were there for that, so it's okay. But I don't want to see somebody who I know is a really good singer do that. It's like I need to hear you sing.
It's like, put it like this: like if you know, like you know Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Chris Brown's music is so good. Imagine he was just lip singing and dancing.
I'd be so pissed.
You'd be pissed because his live performance kind of sounds a little different to his actual records. That's why we like it. He would sing like a key a little different or higher, and it just touches you. Like you're like, bro, this $500 was worth it. You know what I mean?
And it is 500 and or more. Concerts are so expensive now.
You know, I feel like concerts are expensive, but it's one of those things that like you will forever cherish. You know, and like as an artist, if it's good, and people like Chris Brown put the effort into making the show a show that like $500 is more than worth it. You know what I mean? It's like
I'd feel confident.
The effort that he be putting is like, you know, like it's worth your money, you know? And that's why I want to come to a point where people want to pay a lot of money because they know it's like what I'm about to show them is priceless, bro. You know?
That's what's up. No, there are certain artists that I would feel very confident spending big money to go see them, and to aspire to be that is the right mentality. Absolutely. Because I have also been to a lot of shows where I was like, nah. Nah.
Yeah.
And then I look around and people seem happy and I'm like, how do you love this so much? This ain't it. But
you know why? Because they're not creatives.
Yeah.
For people that are creatives, you see it in a whole different, like the way you see it. You don't see things the same way as people that don't do it see it. You know, like we're creatives. Like we could be at the club and we could have Drake and we will act like, yo, that's so dope. We got Drake. We got someone that works at a law firm and see Drake. Oh my God, let me try to get my wife loves Drake.
No,
you know
perspective,
what I mean?
for sure.
So
absolutely. I'm just like always astounded by people who know that Beyonce is amazing as an example. And then they see somebody who's like objectively not anywhere in the same universe and they seem just as happy to see either. I'm like, that's really interesting.
That's really interesting. But you know, good for the artist.
But you know what? Yeah, he's like, you know what? No hate. They're enjoying themselves. They're doing what they do. People love it in whatever way they love it. So cool. But I know that an artist that is definitely one that brings it is Bryson, which is why I'm sure he's one of your favorites. I know he's somebody that you would love to collaborate with.
100%.
Are there any other artists, and I'm talking R&B, Afro, and anything that you would really love to collaborate with, past or present?
Yeah. So I mean, I would love, like, female artists, R&B wise. This is one of the underrated artists that I feel like has humongous potential with the right artist and the right beat. It's Ella Mai.
Ella Mai's amazing.
I think Ella Mai is one of those artists that like with the right record and the right feeling. And I feel like the bouncy records she be hopping on are the craziest. And that's something I want to hear more from Ella Mai. But if you see this, we gonna go crazy,
Ella,
man.
we'll make some calls.
Man. We gotta make it happen, bro.
No, for real. I feel like she was really, really popping when Boot Up and all of that came out. And then in the past few years, I know she's taken a little bit of a step back, but
whatever, you know.
Yeah, but I would love to hear her on some stuff I like dancing too. I like energy. I like to be happy, and I want to hear more records that are like bouncy and can work in the club, but also be cool to listen to in the car or at home and really vibe to.
Like that record she did with like Meek Mill, the 7 days a week.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Vibes.
It's like a perfect mix of bouncy and just chill. Like I could literally read, like just be cooking, have it in the back, and it's chill. It's a chill one. But if I want to dance, it's still dancey enough for me to like.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Chris Brown would be one of those. But Chris Brown is so inspirational that a lot of people would gravitate to Chris Brown because he's one of those that he fits with any artist of any genre and he can make it work.
He's one of the most talented people out.
100%.
And I feel like you would learn a lot from his experience because he's been through a lot. He's been in the game since he was really young. Been through a whole lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
And I think
all the trial and errors is
I think that'd be really, really really good person for you to connect with as well. Were you able to connect with Bryson properly and like have real conversation?
Yeah, so I mean, so I got connected with Bryson through his manager and my other homie Morgan and Ryan Trey, the artist as well. I got connected because of my manager and shit. And when we spoke, they loved the music. They wanted to meet me. We had a proper sit down in LA. It was a really good experience. I got to chop it up with the team, and like I'm very close with the team now after that whole the Bryson show and everything.
Dope.
I got to perform. It was sick. I got to meet Bryson at the after dinner. It was one of those like unreal moments where you're like, damn, bro, like it's like it was closed down. You know what I mean? Like the restaurant was very like tight knit because it was like we rented out the whole spot.
Okay.
And it was like hella people after the show, eating, but he was just sitting
right
distance,
there.
And it was one of those like, wow, like he's just there. Let me just go say what's up, and he was just there. And I'm like, yo, what up, Bryson, bro? Like, I messed with your music for a minute, man. I got into it and everything. I performed. He was like, yo, he was just super cool about it, He was just chill. He was chill like what I expected. He's a very chill guy.
Good.
He was nice. And, I asked him for a picture. He was like, yeah, for sure, bro. Took a picture. And I think that was one of those days where for me it was just like I I accomplished one part, which is getting to meet him and being close with the team. Now it's time to work hard enough for him to really want to work with you. So
I like that. I like that. Do the work and let the situation be what it is and happen the way it's supposed to, versus you being like, yo, let me get a feature.
Yeah, because think about it. Like, let's say if he organically gravitates to my music and the record's like a hit record, whenever he gets interviewed, he's not going to be like, yeah, so my management linked with this, that. It would be like, yo, I was a fan of Chico's music, and I heard he even performed, I linked him. He was cool. We made the record, and the rest is history, man. That's my homie. That's
That's what you want.
That's what you want,
Absolutely. All right, well, I have one final question, which is a question that I often ask people. What does success look like to you? Like, what would you, when you're looking into the future, what do you feel like success would be? What would make you happy?
So for me, in the future, what I think would make me happy if I look back in my career and everything is, did I accomplish my original goal, which was to leave a print on what I was really good at and what I got signed for and what I'm trying to project to the people? Did I accomplish that? Did I also inspire people to do what they want to do and bring it to the next level and make sure they're able to pursue it the way they want to do it? And did I leave a good impression for the next generation? You know what I mean? Because I feel like people like Drake leave the best examples for Canadian artists. Like, we're like, yo, we got literally one of the musical goats that's Canadian, and you got new kids going to school listening to Drake, like, yo, I want to be an artist now. And do people, like, I would want to think, like, do people want to be like Chikoruss at some point, you know? And if I have people that want to become like me, I think I did a pretty good impression, you know?
I love that.
Music game.
I love that. Brother, thank you for coming through the crib.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being so honest. And I'm excited to hear the project that's dropping later this year.
Later this year, for sure.
Right? What should the people look out for on that, real quick?
Man, they're gonna have to look out for a lot of versatility, because I think even though the music is very similar, it's gonna have versatility to it. You know what I mean? Hopefully, we're gonna drop a 1-2 slow record, because you guys hear me on the upbeat stuff, but definitely one of the slow stuff. And I'm definitely trying to take the Afro to the next level too. So we're gonna see how that goes.
I like that, brother. Thank you again for coming through. Much love.
Appreciate you, man.